Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this interview is brought to you by EmployeeEscapePlan.com. That's www.EmployeeEscapePlan.com. And Joe Nicasio helps you get more customers to pay you more money more often, helps you with your marketing, helps you with your business processes and systems. And coming from an engineering background and tech and troubleshooting, he's amazing at solving problems, worked with greats like Jay Abraham, invested 25,000 hours into his business, and he's amazing, amazing dude. So I highly recommend Joe Nicasio, EmployeeEscapePlan.com. For the man of the hour, Camilo Palacio is a successful business owner and real estate investor who is passionate about helping motivated people create financial freedom so they have time to create and live the life they've always wanted. Having created personal wealth through real estate, Camilo has been an entrepreneur since the age of 16 and began his first real estate business at the young age of 24. With a combination of business skills, proven systems, and most importantly, strong relationships, his real estate career ensured that he was financially free in less than 6 years before the age of 30. Camilo, you ready to rock this? Let's do it. Awesome, man. I am so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today, man. We're going to have a lot of fun. And, dude, you're up to big things in the world. Thanks for taking the time out to share with our audience.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you for having me. And first of all, I wanted to congratulate you on your show, man. I watch it constantly. I comment as much as I can. Thank you for having me, bro.
Dude, thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a big thing that we're doing here, empowering people, making the world a better place. So before we start diving into your journey and your story as a real estate investor, the theme today is cultivating that inner garden, right? Getting our mindset right, getting that internal environment right. And I'm curious, how has that played a role in your life, your success? Do you teach that kind of stuff? Like, how has that showed up for you?
Everything started with, I come from a family that was actually very negative. And it happens where if something is going, like you either model your family or you're tired of what's going on and you have to make a 90-degree shift.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to me, actually. Everything was, my family has always been entrepreneurs. They've always liked to be independent, but their financial management skills and their mentality was very negative. There was always chasing for a dollar. There was always never money. There was never enough money for anything. And I said, listen, I have to do something. And that's when I started thinking, okay, I have to start modeling successful people. And I started reading, I started understanding, going to seminars. And I said, okay, there's the first shift I have to do is in my mind, in my head. And that's how everything started. It started with a book that I highly recommend to many people. It was just as basic as you can get. But it changed that shift. And from there, it got to seminars, courses, webinars, meeting people, like-minded people, entrepreneurs, business owners, and got me to where I am right now. So to answer your question, 100% is mentality.
Wow. Dude, that's beautiful, man. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure we're going to dive into even more of that stuff, the things that you learned, the wisdom, the mentalities that you took on. That's awesome, man. And before we get there, let's dive in a little bit more about your journey. You said you came from this really difficult background. Like, what did you have to grow through? What kind of challenges did you experience growing up to be able to be financially free before the age of 30?
Wow, that's a very long question, and I can go back all the way down to 10 years old, but I don't want to go that deep. But long story short, I come from Colombia, my country. I was born and raised in Colombia. English, as you can tell, is my second language. And when I got to this country, we actually escaped a very dangerous time in my country, which was the 1990s. Everybody knows Pablo Escobar. Everybody knows what happened. And it was as crazy as you didn't know where the next dangerous, like you didn't know if there was going to be something dangerous that night. You just knew that it was going to happen. It was a matter of where was it going to happen. I don't know the story about what's going on in Syria, what's going on in Venezuela, but what I lived in Colombia and my city in the 1990s was crazy. And we had to leave that country for that reason. Unfortunately, today is much, much better. I go there every year and it's so much safer. But we came to this country looking for a different opportunity, looking for some even just financial stability and just to be able to be safe. Just go out on the street and just be safe. That's where everything started. So my biggest challenge was obviously the language. I was a teenager coming to this country. I had to change schools. I had to change home. I had to change my country, my culture, everything, and leave my entire family behind. I only came in with my parents and my sister. I was 14 years old and just started here in high school. And so business-wise, I was a blank canvas, I would say. But mentality-wise, or my mindset was coming from a very negative situation. When I came here, I was introduced to, like my dad always told me, like you have to be independent, you have to work for yourself, have your own time and don't work for anybody else, make your dreams like every other entrepreneur. Like we listen in the radio and podcasts, you say it all the time, every successful person says it all the time. And I mean, the first thing I did was go online and find out if I want to become an investor, what's an investor? What do they do? How do they do it? And I came around and somebody offered me this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it applied 100% to my family and my situation. My dad was an entrepreneur, but he had a very poor dad mentality. And I said, okay, there's another side to the story. Where do I want to get to? Then you remember the Rich Dad Poor Dad, the 4 quadrants?
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
And then I said, okay, if I want to do that, I need to be an entrepreneur and I want to become an investor. I started Googling where are the investors, what are they doing? I came across real estate. I started working 9 to 5, 9 to 10. And that's what today I enjoy, man. I'm a real estate investor and we help investors find properties so they can fix and sell, fix and rent. And we also have some rental portfolios that allow me to become financially free right before I turn 30.
Wow. Dude, that's awesome. That's so cool. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Being the example, man. You're leading the charge, especially for other people who may have been out of the country, immigrants, that kind of thing. English is a second language. You get to inspire them about what is possible. Like, regardless of what age it happens out, like, you can make it happen. Because I'm sure you had lots of doubts, like, oh, I'm too young, I don't know enough, blah, 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 right?
all of them, bro. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Every time I would go to a seminar, and you know how they would ask, okay, let me see what type of audience we have. Yeah. I was always commenting, oh, my God, I wish I was here when I was your age. I wish I had your age when I started. All of that. So yeah, I had all the possible negative things I had to go through. So no excuses, bro. No excuses.
That's right. So, how did you get into the real estate investing? Like, what was that journey like? Did you find mentors? Was it really difficult when you first started? Did you have to hit the pavement and go door knock? Like, what was that like when you first got started?
All of the above, but everything that you mentioned. But the way I started was the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad led me to multi-level marketing, which I'm sure you're very familiar with. Yeah. I started multi-level marketing, a company in Colombia, which is called Travel One at the moment. Okay. It was very hard to get into. It was a lot of money that I didn't have, but I knew that I was going to be surrounded by like-minded people, entrepreneurs, go-getters. And I started doing this business and I said, I'm going to be the pioneer in Miami because they were able to work. We were able to do this business here in the U.S., but there was another big audience working in the business down in Colombia. So I said, let me open this market. I came here, but nobody knew about the company. So it was very hard to get to. And one book led me to another one until I read that there was a cash flow 101 game from Rich Dad Poor Dad. I Googled where can I go in person to meet these people that they meet every single month to play that game. So I found out a group in Doral, Florida, which is where I'm from, and they were meeting once a month. I went there, and the host, how every time you go to a seminar, there's somebody out there that's speaking, and every time you have your 10 or 15 minutes that you can actually talk to the host. There was 30 people in the room, and I was able to talk to the guy, and I said, listen, how about you join my team? Let me share these opportunities, these multi-level marketing business, these and that. Let me just share you another presentation, which I wasn't tired of getting no's, but 100% I had no's in the multi-level marketing. And he told me in 10 seconds, he said, listen, stop wasting your time in multi-level marketing, because I've done them all. Get into real estate investing. I felt kind of insulted because that's what I was doing. I had a passion for it. I wasn't making any money, but I was 100% committed. And I left, and I was kind of angry. But then I was at the elevator. I'm like, wait a second. Let me go back to this guy. Let me find out what he meant by that. So I went back and I asked him, hey, what do you mean by that? How do I start? What do I need to do? He looked like a millionaire. He had his nice suit. I had my shirt and my jeans, but he was looking like a millionaire person. And I'm like, listen, I have to listen to this guy. What do you mean by real estate investor? He said, yes, don't be a realtor. Be a real estate investor. I'm not going to mentor you. I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'm not going to teach you how to do it. But read these 3 books. And when you're done with them, come back to me. I read the 3 books. I got audiobooks, so I was able to go through them, by the next meeting, by the next month. And the next month, I met with him and I said, listen, what's next? I got the 3 books. I read them all. And then he started sending me contacts and information. I started Googling and podcasting. And at the moment, there was no podcast. So I started Googling and looking at YouTube reviews and reading online and blogs and everything until I was able to get to know people and realtors and I just emerged pretty much. And that's how I started.
Damn. Awesome. So like, what was the process after you made that commitment? Like, what did you have to go through to get to success?
Long story, man. I want to keep it short. That's my point. I want these conversations. So listen, I just met some people. I started asking realtors. Oh, very important, which I know your audience is going to love this. I met a realtor that was working with real estate investors. And I said, listen, I'm working part-time in the job that I have today. How about I work with you every Tuesday and Thursday, 9 to 5 for free in exchange of knowledge. And I did that for about 3 or 4 months. I would go to his house. He sat on a desk right next to him. And I worked for like 3 or 4 months, Tuesday and Thursday, for no payment, no nothing, just knowledge. But I heard him. I was listening to his phone conversation, the way he would talk to people, the way he would prospect, and he would talk to different people, how to acquire a property, how to do the numbers. And I was able to get so many contacts where in my other time, I would contact them on my own. And I actually was very open with him. I said, listen, I want to do this for a living. Do you mind if everything that I learned from you, I start applying it? He said, of course, no problem. I was working for free for him.
Right.
That's how I started, man. So I started getting contacts, people. I was able to find a wholesaler. So for the people that don't understand real estate business, a wholesaler is a deal finder, a person that finds deals under market value. That's what I do. At the moment, I reach a wholesaler, and I was able to find a few properties. I was able to buy 2 or 3 properties from the guy, and it just started evolving from there. Working hard, smart, and meeting the right people.
Yeah, dude, I love it. And hey, your story and how you got to where you are is like so important. That's what people connect with. So like, whenever you're on interviews, you're going to be on lots of interviews and lots of stages moving forward. Dude, own it. Like, it's you.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate every single golden nugget, everything that you share, all the patterns that you sharing with us, right? What is the pattern that leads to people's success? So thank you for sharing that.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So what kind of a mindset, like what did you have to focus on with regards to your mindset? What skills did you have to cultivate in the process? And how can we as an audience start doing that ourselves as well?
You have to find out, you have to know where you want to get to. And then when you know when you want to get to, like, for example, you want to have the best podcast ever.
Yeah.
You know the best podcasters in the world, and you're following them. You're reading their books. You're reading their content. You're watching what they're doing, and you're modeling what they're doing. That's the same thing I did. I wanted to become a real estate investor. My goal was to have 100 rental properties by the age of 40. Still have a long way to go. I still have my goal in there. It's set. My goal is set. But I said, which person or which investor has already accomplished these goals and more? What are they doing? What can I learn from them? And most successful people, they have free content. They have free information. Even if it's not free, I would pay for it. If a great mentor who became a friend, his name is Robert Sheeman. He's one of the biggest real estate investors in the residential market in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I paid for his course. I became friends with him. Facebook. Now he's doing every Thursday at 4, he's doing Facebook Lives for like an hour. I meet him for coffee, and every time I get a chance to meet with him and learn something from him, it doesn't have a value, you know? So even if I sit with him for 2 minutes, if he tells me one thing that I can apply to my business, that's what I do. So my tip to every person that is listening to this interview right now is, whoever you know, where do you want to get to? Just learn who that top person is in your industry and just do what they're doing.
Beautiful. Beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. So in terms of modeling, we can model people for those skills, for what they're doing, and we can duplicate that as well. And I know we talked about Robert Kiyosaki, and one of the things that he talks about is cash flow. So what have you modeled about cash flow and learning about cash flow, and what can you really give us to be able to start implementing around cash flow and being successful with our cash flow?
Well, that's actually a great question, because that's my whole business goes around cash flow. My business name, my website, my book, everything is cash flow. And it's very important. Cash flow is when you have a rental property, you can apply it to every business, but in real estate investments, when you have a rental property, is the profit between your expenses and the rental income that you have. So for example, if you have a property that is rented for $1,500 a month, and let's say you have a mortgage, you have taxes, you have insurance, you have property management, you have repairs. Let's say you add that up for the entire month and you're paying $1,000 a month on that property and you're renting it for $1,500. Those $500 is the positive cash flow that is leaving you net after all the expenses. Right. Now, some people, I don't get it. Some people buy investment properties even with negative cash flow. So the focus in real estate business is buying properties that have positive cash flow. Like Robert Kiyosaki talks, I don't know if you play the game Cash Flow 101 game. They talk about it all the time. The game is to have as much cash flow that pays for your expenses every month, correct? Mm-hmm. That's cash flow. So in rental income, in business, in real estate, that's what the cash flow is. So that's what I look for. I'm looking constantly for real estate deals that if I rent them is going to pay off my debt in addition to leaving me a profit at the end of the month, at the end of the year.
Wow, dude, that's awesome. So why do you think so many people are not focused on cash flow? And what do you think it's going to take to educate more people about cash flow and being focused on that?
People see real estate as appreciation. People think that appreciation is more valuable than cash flow. And so many people have become millionaires through appreciation, but that's like playing the stock game. Let's say you buy a house and you buy it for $300,000, hoping that it's going to go up. What if it goes down? So you're going to lose money. So what difference does that make if you buy 100 shares of Apple? I mean, if the shares go up, you make money. If the shares go down, you lose money. Right. So you're playing a stock game in real estate. You're buying one property, hoping that it appreciates in value so you can make money. Now, when the market goes up, many people make money and everybody thinks, oh my God, I'm a real estate investor. But when the market goes down, people go bankrupt, they lose money, and that's where foreclosures and short sales start happening. The problem is people don't see the cash flow. So that's my point. To answer your question, people are not educated enough to understand that if you're buying a property, a rental property, you have to focus on the cash flow first, and appreciation is second. I have rental properties today that they cash flow. Let's say, for example, going back to the example I gave you a few minutes ago, $1,500 and $1,000 is my expenses. Let's say I bought the property for $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
If the property is worth today $150,000, it's still cash flowing $500 a month. But those $50,000 that I built in equity because of appreciation, that's an extra. But if the property drops to $80,000, does that mean I lost $20,000? In theory, I lost $20,000 in equity, but it doesn't affect my pocket because it's still cash flow.
Cash flow.
You get me? So that's the difference. It's looking at the cash flow instead of the appreciation. The appreciation is a plus.
Dude, I love it. So speaking of cash flow, you're also diversifying your income, getting other sources of income in addition to real estate investing. You're writing this book. I know you're doing like courses and stuff. Tell us about diversifying income and what you got going on.
Absolutely. So many people have told me that my journey and my wife's journey has been pretty remarkable. Not many people come to this country as immigrants and they create what we've created before turning 30, especially in 5 years or 6 years since we started. So we wanted to just share our story. We wanted to share what we've done, how we've done it, and we split our business in three different areas. One is wholesaling, which is finding properties on their market value. The other one is rehabbing or flipping, which you see the shows on A&E TV and all of these things. Buy a house, renovate it, and sell it for profit. And the third part is rental income, is what I'm telling you about, is buying properties, fixing them up, and renting them for monthly cash flow. So we just wanted to share our story, and this is our book, Cashflowpreneur. That's me and my wife. And in this book, we're sharing our story, and we're sharing the details of how we became who we are, what we've done, what have we accomplished, and most importantly, what have been the biggest hurdles that we've got to go through, like we're talking, being too young and second language and coming to a different culture, all these things. So we share our story here. And the point of this book is to share our story, but also to inspire and tell people, hey, there's no excuses. If we did it, there's absolutely no excuse why you shouldn't do it. And it's just following simple rules that we hear from everybody, but we actually don't apply it. Set goals, put them in writing. Make sure you revise them every week, every month, every year. Make sure you have a mission statement, a vision statement for your business, for your personal, for your family, for your health. It's talking about all these things, and we put it all together in a book that is very easy to read, and you guys can get it on Amazon, cashflowpreneurbook.com. That's the website. And following the book, we're also working on a course that we're teaching people how to start from zero to becoming real estate investors. And again, we split it in three. You start with no money, no credit, no credibility, no nothing. So we teach you everything that you have to start, everything you want to do to become a real estate investor. Then when you acquire some money, when you have some capital through these deals that we're going to do through wholesaling, you become a flipper or a rehabber so you can get more capital. And then you can buy your rental income, which is going to set you up for financial freedom. That's exactly what we did, and so that's what we're teaching.
Dude, that's awesome. What better way to teach people than what you've already done? There's a lot of people out there who are attempting to teach people stuff that they haven't learned or haven't, experienced or lived in reality,
Absolutely.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. And also just a quick point. We try to keep it as simple as possible, and we try not to exaggerate. Notice that I'm saying we are financially free. It pays for my expenses, for a beautiful house that we have, for everything that we're set right now. But I'm not saying I'm the biggest real estate investor in the world. I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not exaggerating things. We're trying to keep these real, and I hate it when some other courses they teach, oh yeah, you're going to come to a boot camp for 3 days. You're going to learn everything about real estate. I've done it. I've paid the $20,000 for that real estate boot camp where all you're going to walk out with a notebook full of notes and you have no idea how to start. So we try to keep it simple. Homework every week, just one step at a time. Build your buyers list, build your sellers list, build your money list. This is how you talk to people. Work on these part-time until you're able to get enough deals so that you can turn it into full-time. We're trying to keep it real, man. The same way we did it we're trying to teach you.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. Cool. So what do you think it is that keeps people most stuck about becoming real estate investors? Why do people not succeed? How do they self-sabotage? What keeps them stuck?
I think it's like you said, man, it's the mentality. It's the lack of being hungry. It's the lack of I have a job 9 to 5. I have to go back home. I have to feed my family, make dinner, and by the time it's 8, I just want to watch TV and go to bed. They don't understand that there's always if you're hungry enough, there's always a 5 to 9 in the morning. There's always a 10 at night to 1 in the morning, so you can read, learn, understand, go look for blogs. So many things you can do. There's always Saturdays. There's always Sundays. Listen, like my wife says it all the time. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to sacrifice 5 years of your life to do stuff that people are not willing to do, so that you can spend the rest of your life doing what people wish they could do.
Yep.
So it's just hustling. It's hard work. It's going to take time. It's just in real estate, in podcasting, this. If you want to become a trainer, you want to become a coach, you want to become an author, you have to put in the time. And that's what I think people are lacking is they build up these excuses. Oh, I'm too tired. I'm burned. I'm just excuses, man. Excuses. And they're not hungry enough, I would say.
Dude, that's gold, man. Gold. So the hunger has to be there. They have to be connected to their why. What is more specifically your why? Like, what keeps you driven? What drives you forward, you and your wife?
I read a book, Start With Why, and I'm telling you this because it split my why in two. My why as a person, as a new father, I have a 7-month-old newborn baby.
Congrats.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, which I'm so excited. I'm enjoying her every day, and I'm so grateful for this financial freedom because it is allowing me to slow down a little bit to enjoy her, but I'm getting off topic. This book allowed me to split my why, and my why is obviously my baby, my wife, enjoying the time, enjoying my business, providing for my parents that had a really hard living, and I want to pay that back. That's my personal why. But this book taught me that every business also has a why, and it cannot be monetary. And the why of my business is not to make a lot of money, is not to become financially free, is that by doing what I'm doing, by finding ugly properties and destroyed properties in my neighborhood, I'm helping renovate America one house at a time.
Wow.
And by that, I mean there's realtors making money because of the deals that I'm finding. There's title companies closing. The counties and the state are collecting taxes. Properties are becoming more beautiful, and homeowners are becoming more proud. And the values of the neighborhood are appreciating. And there's so many families, contractors, attorneys, accountants, so many people eating or getting a profit from just the one deal that I'm finding. So my personal why is my family, my business why is so many people that are being helped and are building a business because I'm finding these one deal. So if I find more deals and more deals, obviously it's going to have more business and more people are going to be able to have a paycheck by the end of the week or the month, every month. So that's my biggest why.
That's awesome, man. Why are you driven to help people so much? Was that something that you developed over the years? Were you born with that? Like how can other people, our audience listening, really put people first and want to serve? Because obviously when you put people put people first and you're serving, you're giving, that's when like all the abundance starts rushing into life because you're out there being a service and making a difference. So did you have it?
Absolutely. I mean, I believe that I'm not in the real estate business. I believe that I'm in the people business. I'm in the relationship business. And again, before I started real estate, I was in the food distributing business. I would still have to get people to like me so they can buy from me. Before, my parents used to have a athletic shoe store like Nikes. They would sell Nikes and Adidas and Reeboks down in my country. They would import them from Miami or from Panama, and they would sell it there. Who were my clients? Or their clients? They were people. Who were the employees? They were people. Who was he paying rent to? People. So whatever business we're in, we're talking to people. You know, there's somebody else on the other line. There's somebody else on the email that is gonna read it. There's somebody else on the other side of the book that we just launched. So it's a people's business, man. No matter what you're doing. Yeah. So it's crucial to help people and have a good relationship with everybody.
How have you developed your ability to connect quicker, build more rapport with people, and enhance your people skills?
That's something that I learned a lot from a very good mentor that you and I have, T. Harbecker. Yes. Man, that guy's amazing. We went through all these courses. I actually met you in one of their seminars, and I'm so thankful for that. Yeah. But he says the first key to negotiate in anything is just be nice. You can never get a bad deal if you're nice. Every time I'm calling my credit card company because I forgot to pay it one day late, I always say, hi, good morning, good afternoon, how are you? I hope your day is going great. Listen, I have this problem. Can you help me out? Other than screaming and yelling and get me to a supervisor, that's not going to work. So treat people nice. Everything's going to flow, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So just focusing on, it's almost like treat people how you would want to be treated. You know, like you would want someone to care about you and make sure, like, are you having a bad day? Like, that feels good when we go to stores, when we're dealing with service personnel, you know, employees, whatever, and people ask and they care, you know?
Absolutely. It's a people's business, like we say. We're in the relationship business, not in the housing business or in the podcast business or in the trainer or the coaching business. We are in the people's business. So that's crucial. Hey, talk to me a little about you, man. It feels like I'm in an interview, bro. Talk to me a little bit about you, man. I see you every Wednesday, bro. Your videos, your 1 minute talks, man. They're amazing, inspiring us every week, every day. I love them. How are you doing, bro? Let's make this a little bit conversational.
Awesome. Hey, it is conversational, man. I'm asking you great questions. You're doing awesome. But seriously, man, things are going great. And, you know, this is, for everyone out there listening, Camilo's doing a great job of just, like, checking in and walking the talk. And I love that. You know, you just had this urge to check in. Chris, how are you, man? I care about you. That's awesome. And I love it, dude. And I'm grateful. And, dude, life is amazing. And we have this 12-hour marathon. We've done 36 of them. And, man.
See that.
Life keeps getting better and better. And it's like, you know, you probably put in a lot of work in the very beginning when you were building your business. And that's how this is going, man. I think there's a lot of establishing that foundation, learning the fundamentals, planting the flag, so to speak, and having people know who is Chris Burns, what is becoming your greatest possible self, what is Burned Up Coaching. And that takes time to establish that foundation, to establish that presence in people's mind, you know. And a lot of what I wanted was, I just want to make $1 million this year, you know. A lot of the goals that I set, I set goals to like $1 million next year, like so many times. It's like, that's not the focus.
But listen, there's nothing wrong with that because you still have that goal. You still want to make it there. You still want to. I still want the 100 properties.
Yes.
But it's little by little, you know, it's a one step at a time, and it's great, man. I see you every day, every week. Bro, you're taking off your shirt to do push-ups. I love it.
Yes. Dude, man. How do you stand out? How do you stand out? You know, I think that's a big challenge in today's world, in our social media. And 12 hours straight of Facebook Live is a great way to stand out. You know, doing push-ups with my shirt off is a great way to stand out.
whatever it takes, right? WIT.
Yes.
To compliment on what you just said, I feel that the 1950s and before, that was the industrial area, the agricultural area. Then it became the industrial area, then the internet era. Now we're getting into the educational era, which is like, do what you're doing, you know, writing a book, doing a podcast, educating people, providing value. And it takes time, it takes effort, but at the end, I guarantee you it's going to pay off, bro. And I congratulate you for that. Your consistency is amazing. I love it. And thank you for sharing your stories and being vulnerable. We love it, man. Just wanted to put that out there, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And it's a joy, man. We get to be in this dance. You know, we're talking about the people business, right? This is absolutely a people business, and it's like such a dance between finding out what's going to work. You know, what is going to really deliver that value. We have ideas. We have ideas of what the marketplace wants. We have ideas of what people want, and it's like this constant dance of evolution of what that looks like. You know, so how you, Camilo, how are you? Like really finding out what people want in your marketplace. How are you like creating and filling that desire? How are you supplying the demand in your marketplace?
That's something that I learned also from T-Har. Being clear on your message.
Yes.
I don't tell people what they want. I ask them what they want. And I take notes. You know, I have a page in my notebook for every client that I have. And every time they tell me, hey, listen, I'll call you back because I'm in my daughter's recital, I write it down. Hey, this person is at the daughter's recital. Next time I talk to them, I ask them, hey, how was your daughter's recital? That creates some sort of report. I write it down. I write down notes, specific details, especially if they have to do with their family, if they're going through a difficult situation. So, sorry, ask me the question again, bro.
That was good. I like where we were going. That was awesome. So I think I was asking about like how do you supply the demand of what your community really wants? How do you know what that is, and how do you deliver on it?
By talking to so many investors and so many clients, they tell me, hey, I'm looking for properties in this area, or I have these budgets for, and I wanted to buy a property for this amount, or just asking questions. That's the best answer that I can give you, because I can get too technical about real estate. But when I ask questions and I ask them, what is it that you want? What are you looking for? And I talk about that in my book. I talk about it in our course. There's three main things that every real estate investors need to create, which is a buyer's list, a seller's list, and a money list. And when you're talking to buyers, you want to tell them that you have deals. I have properties. You're my buyer. What are you looking for? I have inventory. All right. What are you looking for? And then David John said in one of his podcasts a couple of days ago, he said, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice, talk once, you know? So listen to what they're saying. So if a client says, hey, I'm looking for a property, I'm maxing 150,000 and I wanted in these and these zip codes, and this is my goal with this property, I listen. And as soon as something comes up, I send it to them. That would be for my buyers. For my sellers, I say, hey, I have plenty of money. I have plenty of access to either hard money or other people's money or bank loans, or I'm qualified, or I have cash, whatever it is. I have money. What is it that you have to sell? Tell it to me, because I will close quick. I will take care of inspections. Again, I don't want to get too technical, but just being clear on my message. What is it that you want so that I can provide it for you? And then I can understand what you're looking for so I can help you.
Wow. And it sounds like a lot of that has come through trial and error and experience, right? To know what to say, to know what to communicate, to know how to be clear with your message.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Awesome stuff. So really like driving home the point, what's the mindset that you really want people to show up with after this interview? You know, like how do you want people being left better off because of that? Or what do you want them to really receive from you showing up here?
Everything is possible, bro. Everything is possible. And I relate a lot to Gary Vee, because he also talks a lot about him being from another country. He's also an immigrant. I can't remember his name. Robert from Shark Tank. He talks about it all the time. Coming from a different country, and look at these people, man. They are inspiring me. You know, I see them as, look at where they are and where I come from, and if they did it, I can do it. It doesn't need to be that I have to invent Uber, or I have to come up with Facebook. No, I can create my own future. But there's no excuses, man. If these guys did it, I can do it. And to your viewers, or to our viewers, if I'm doing it, I'm trying to keep it as real as I can. Everybody else can do it. Just learn, get educated, pay for the shortcuts. For me, that's key. Pay for the shortcuts. There's people that have made it. There's people that have done it, and they have courses, they have seminars, they have books, they have YouTube channels, they have podcasts, they have everything. Pay for it. Nobody's going to give you 100% of their tools for free. They're going to tell you a little bit about it and then pay for my course.
Yep.
Do it, because it's much less expensive than trying to figure it out on your own. All right. A real estate mistake can cost you $10, $15, $20,000. A course is going to cost you $3,000, $4,000. And trust me, because I've made them. So I've paid big seminars in just one deal that I say, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that deal, or I should have learned from this. And the way I see it, man, is I lost this money. There's my seminar. There goes my $3,000 deposit that I just lost. I'm just going to think that was my 3-week seminar, or 3 days weekend seminar. And I learned from it, and move forward. So there's no excuses. You can do it. I had no money. I had no credit. I had no experience. I had no mentors. I had my English was my second language, still is my second language. And I come from another country. At the moment, I wasn't even a U.S. citizen. And I became a U.S. citizen in the process. But, man, anything is possible, man.
Dude, that's awesome. So I'm curious, what's the dynamic between you and your wife? I think she was on here. Michelle has been on here and watching, supporting you, sending you love. So what's the dynamic between you two? How do you balance the business? What roles does she play in the business?
Oh man, I wouldn't be able to be where I am if it wasn't for her. People say behind a successful man, there's an amazing woman behind him. And we do everything together. I make all my business decisions with her. She knows everything that I'm into. And if I'm doing a deal, I may put it under contract because I'm excited and whatever, and I didn't consult with her. But at the end of the day, she's going to know what's going on. And she backs me up 100%. Man, it's a great relationship. We started, when I started this business, I said, okay, I'm going to go all in full time January 1st, 2010. I said, I'm all in. And she had her job. And at the moment, she was my boyfriend. And I said, okay, I'm going all in. And 4, 5, 6 months later, I told her, listen, I think if I give you some tips and you work hard on this, you can also become a wholesaler. You can also become an investor. Look at the results that I'm creating here. So she opened her own LLC. She created her own company, Sparks Properties. And she started doing the same thing we were doing, that I was doing. And she started working hard, doing the same thing, her in her house, me in my house. And then we started living together. We got married. Now we have a little baby. And everything has been congruent. Everything is the same. I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for her. And right now she's actually listening to us and holding our beautiful baby on her lap. Awesome. And I wouldn't be able to do this if it wasn't for her.
Dude, that's it, man. You gotta support each other. One side of the couple or whatever is gonna have some good days and really awesome days, and the other side not so much, and vice versa. You gotta balance that out and support each other.
Absolutely. And she pushes me when I'm weak, and I push her when she's weak, and we go to all the courses together. We've done all the courses from Peak together, and Tony Robbins and webinars. If I see a good post on Facebook, I tag her so that she sees that. If she sees something great, she tags me. A book that I read, I recommend to her. Awesome. Constantly working as a team, man. It's crucial.
It's awesome. You mentioned you've gone to so many seminars and learned so much. I'm curious if there's any one thing or one project or one module or one concept that you've really had, transform your life out of all these seminars. Any kind of experience, any kind of breakthrough, something that you just know is like one of the most valuable things that you've ever learned or experienced.
I'm going to talk about two different ones. One is the Cash Flow 101 game. I modeled my business on that game. It's a board game. It's for the person who, if you haven't played it, please buy it and play it with your family. It's like $70 on Amazon. It's the Cash Flow 101 game from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And everything, those cards that you get in that game, it's real life. You can actually get those deals, and it sets you up in the real estate business and in the investor side. It sets up your mentality, how you should think as an investor. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal? And where should I put my investments? And it also allows me to think that the paycheck. Have you played that game, Chris?
Yeah.
By the beginning of the game, you're trying to hit that paycheck. Oh yes, money's coming in because I'm surviving. At the end of the game, if you play for 3 hours, you have so many deals, you have so much cash flow, you have so many deals that if you land on a damn paycheck, a little spot, I'm like, damn, I don't need a paycheck. I need to land on a deal, right? So it brings me the mentality of, hey, paycheck is good, paycheck is great, but there's opportunities out there that you need to get, and you have to get those cards from the opportunity, and that's real life. So I've modeled my business, I've modeled everything that I do in my real estate on that game, and I'm playing the Cash Flow 101 game, and I actually have my own cash flow cards, same as the book, on my Excel sheet where I keep track of everything that has there. That's number one. The second thing that transformed my life was my mentality was, you've been through a few, Millionaire Mind Intensive. At the moment it was Millionaire Mind Intensive. Now it's Millionaire Mind Experience. New Peaks, at the moment was Peak Potentials. That was mind blowing. I started to understand what passive income is. And I started to change my blueprint and understand that I can do it. And it's possible. And those are the two things that changed my mind.
Dude, that's awesome,
so,
man.
I highly recommend those two things, man.
Cash Flow 101 and the Millionaire Mind Experience. 100%, man.
Absolutely.
Game changers. Cool, dude. So we're beginning to wrap up, and I know I already asked you this, but really driving home the point, what do you want people receiving from this interview? Everything is possible. Yeah. Let me just keep it short and sweet. Everything is possible, man. Awesome, brother. Awesome. So how do people stay connected with you, and what do you want them to do next? They can get our book at cashflowpreneurbook.com. Cool. They can also friend me on Facebook with my personal name, Camilo Palacio, or they can go to my Facebook fan page, Cash Flow Talk. We're talking constantly. We just started these Cash Flow Talk, where we are teaching people and giving value and short videos about real estate life, becoming an investor, becoming an entrepreneur. Can be sales, doesn't need to be related to real estate, but we're putting short 5 to 10 minute videos about stuff that happens, little nuggets that we can pick up every single day. So facebook.com/cashflowtalk, or the book, you have it here, cashflowpreneurbook.com, or just Facebook me, man. Hit me up on Facebook, and we'll stay connected, man. Awesome. Dude, Camilo, you're a freaking rock star, bro. Thank you so much for being all about people, empowering people, and helping each of these people who's involved in the deals, right? The lawyer, the person who's selling the house, buying the house, like all of these people are benefiting from the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for helping people, empowering people, and creating more abundance in the world and helping people with their cash flow, man. You're a superstar, dude. Keep it up. Thank you, my friend. I don't know if I'm losing you. It says here poor connection. I don't know if I'm losing you. I wanted to thank you for having me on. I know you have very influential people, and for me to have an hour of your thought, I feel blessed. I feel grateful. Keep rocking, bro. You're doing amazing. And I feel proud of your journey, man, because I also saw you when you were thinking about getting these started. I met you at Mission Possible, and we actually mastermind a little bit, and it was a great experience, man. So I wanted to congratulate you. I wanted to thank you for having me on, bro, and keep rocking it, bro. Thank you, Camilo. Dude, have the best day ever, and we'll see you soon, okay?
You got it, man. Take care, brother. Take care, man.